Hello everyone, this is Gail from Gail's Upstairs Studio. I hope you're all doing well. I have been enjoying this book immensely. It is the Modern Watercolor Workshop book that I've shown in a previous video. And I took footage of one of the exercises that I'm going to show in this video. But first, I am going to show you a couple of things that I've already done. Now, I showed you in the video that I showed you that book in, that I had done these two exercises in a sketchbook. And one of the things that I realized in doing it in a sketchbook is I wasn't enjoying it quite as much because going across the middle of the seam and things was a little difficult, and trying to get the circle specifically to look good when it was close to the seam and the paper was moving a little bit on me. So I decided to change tactics a little bit and to do it on watercolor paper pieces instead. And I am enjoying it much better. So I did both of these again, and I used Be Creative paper, which is this pad here, and I got mine at Walmart for a very affordable price. I've bought several of these actually, and they're always available, so I don't feel the need to like bulk buy them or anything. Anytime I need a new pad, I just go pick it up, and it works very good for this and swatching and things like that. I've made a couple of sketchbooks out of it too, actually. So I have done these two, and I basically taped them down to a glass cutting board so that I could move the cutting board and not be, if I taped it down to the table, I'd have to do everything the same way. And where you're trying to be a little precise with it, it's good to be able to move the whole thing. So I tape it to a glass cutting board and do it that way. And I taped it with painter's tape. And I used two detail brushes, a 3 and a 6, which worked very well. And I started in the video when I was doing the white pen work that I decided to do. I was doing it with a fine Posca pen, but I ended up using this Artist Loft chisel paint pen, and I just used the thin part of the chisel, and it seemed to work much better, but it doesn't show up in the video. The other thing I am doing while I am doing these exercises is I am using the Da Vinci dot sample set, which I have shown you before, and I am trying to see how many things I can do with just these dot samples, because they are very generous. And so while I'm working through this book, I'm going to try to use just the Da Vinci dot samples to do it. And today we're going to do this exercise. And I might turn this into a series because this is broken up into sets. And there's like 3 paintings in a set. So I might, through the next few months, do this in a series where I show you 2 in the series that I have done and then show you footage of 1. I think that might be a fun thing to do. And then we'll see how many of the dot samples we have gone through to do that. And as we go along, I might have to go off colors a little bit, and as I run out of colors in that set. So I hope you enjoy the video. what we are left with. And it isn't exactly the same as what it looks in the book, but I really like it. And I like doing the gold in the middle. I used for my gold a gold from this set, this one here, from the Art Spirits on Etsy, and I've had it for about a year, and I really enjoy this little set. And I use that for the middle, and I really like the way it's really concentrated gold in the middle of some, and it is kind of light, and you can see the paper through it. In other circles, it makes it look old and worn a little, and I like that. This was a lot of fun to do. The hardest part was drawing out the grid, and I'm sorry I didn't get good footage of that, but it lays out how to do it very well in the book. If you have the book, it will show you how to grid it out, and it came out wonderful, to the point where it was so fun to just turn my brain off and work on it that I think I might give this another go with different colors at some point. And out of my dot samples, I used the green gold and the emerald permanent, and there's still some left in each of those. And I had used the ultramarine blue in another painting, so this one is we've pretty much used all of it. And I also used sea glass, and I still have some sea glass left. This has been a very enjoyable thing for me so far, and I'm going to try to get all the way through the book. So far we have the first set of exercises, and we will continue along. I'll probably maybe do one a month, I'm not sure. Do one on camera a month, I mean. And at the end, I'll probably put it in some sort of a book form. Not sure what I'll do yet, but I have found that going to the paper pieces instead of in a sketchbook is much more enjoyable for me. So if you're trying to go through this book, if that gives you any encouragement, I hope that it does anyway. And just for reference, this is an 8.5 by 8.5 piece of watercolor paper. And I did the grid 8 by 8 so that there's a little border around the whole thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.